What's up, everyone, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. Real quick before questions, we need to send a shout out and a thank you to Matt Barnes, who joined our Patreon at the Jedi Master level this past week. Thank you so much, Matt. Also, I wanted to give a quick spoiler warning. No major spoilers or anything, but our first question deals with some things that people might not want to know about the Kenobi series if they want to go in completely fresh. It's just an interview from an actor, but still.
For our first question, Mitchell Flaherty asks if we'll see Obi-Wan confront Darth Vader or the Inquisitors in the Kenobi series.
Yeah, I think that's likely. Vader is almost a given. They've already said, rematch of the century. Hayden Christensen's coming back. Mm-hmm. I'll be shocked if they don't fight. But there have been rumors swirling around that the Inquisitors would also be in this. And specifically, there's rumor that Kang is playing the fifth brother from Star Wars Rebels. And then this past week, he had an interview with our friend Ash Crossan, and he just mentioned that his character had a lightsaber, and he's like, wow, how did I get here? And Ash, her reaction was great. That interview's on Screenrant. But yeah, we now know that his character is going to have a lightsaber. So, thoughts?
I'm excited for us and for him, because he was talking about it like, oh, I used to dress up as a Jedi as a kid, and he seemed really excited, and I don't know if it was like he let it slip or he had planned on talking about this, but I don't think it's something that he would get in trouble for.
I think he's safe. It's not like Star Wars Celebration 2016 where it was let slip that a character died.
Yeah.
But this is, I don't know that he planned to say this, but it's just a fun little detail where he's like, man, I used to play with cardboard lightsabers as a kid, and now I have a real lightsaber. Like, oops. I don't know.
He didn't say what color it was going to be.
Right. I mean, that doesn't really confirm anything. It makes those Inquisitor rumors more likely, I would say. But he could also be doing, he could be a Jedi in hiding or something like that.
Sure. He didn't say anything about, dark side or light side.
Right.
So, but if there's been rumors about Inquisitors going up till now, I think this is a good, solid bet that they're probably going to be in it.
And I would lean that direction for my hopes as well. I mean, we've seen plenty of live-action Jedi. We haven't seen any live-action Inquisitors. It's just another one of those, take things from animation, take things from books, and, I want to see that stuff in live-action. I also don't want any other Jedi in this series, really. It's about Obi-Wan, and I kind of hope it's about just Obi-Wan. Maybe Yoda will be in it, but I don't know. The more Jedi that you introduce into this world where it's and they also survived. I'm Inquisitor, I like more.
Could he show up in flashbacks as a Jedi?
Sure.
I'm just trying to think of what other Jedi we would see a lot of.
Actually, that would be interesting if it turns out Obi-Wan knew the fifth brother before he became an Inquisitor. Ooh. I'm not opposed to that. So he could be a Jedi and an Inquisitor, because the Inquisitors were all, as far as we know, previously Jedi.
Lightspeed Bear wants to know how we plan to cover Visions, since it's all coming out on the same day.
Yeah, well, we were lucky enough to get screeners of it, which is our first time getting screeners. Very exciting. So we have seen them all, and that helps a lot. Our review is coming out on Tuesday. Wednesday, we're just going to let everyone watch it. And then Thursday, we're probably going to do a stream for all of them.
Yeah. We were going to do the stream on Wednesday, but I thought, there's...
It's 9 shorts. 9? It's 2.5 total hours.
Yeah, there's 9 of them, but yeah, if you watch them all, it's like watching a movie. So just to make sure everyone sees all of them before we start gabbing about all the episodes on a live stream, figured we'd wait a day.
Yeah, so we're going to give everyone a day to do that, and then we'll do a big discussion about the whole season. And then I do think I'm going to go in and individually talk about each story. There are some that I definitely want to talk about, and if I'm going to do most of them, I might as well do all of them. We'll see. We're still kind of playing it by ear, but as far as next week goes, that's the plan. We got Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm still doing a Visions video, and then Thursday will be our live stream discussion with a guest.
And we'll also be doing commentaries on the Patreon.
Yes.
Harrison Edgar asks what we think of Star Wars Hunters and who is our favorite character of the bunch.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like my type of game. I'm more iffy because it's going to be on mobile and not just like PC and console. Like, I like the game Overwatch. I like playing that with friends. So a Star Wars Overwatch does sound interesting. But there's still like in-app purchases and all that. So, I want to make sure it's not pay to win or anything like that. And either way, it's still just like, I like Overwatch well enough. It's not my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, it feels just like every other kind of mobile game to me. This isn't really my thing.
Yeah, it's just not my cup of tea.
If I had to pick a character, I would say the Sith woman, because she looks cool.
See, I'm leaning way more towards the goofy ones. Like, I love the Jawas stacked on top of each other, and I think Slingshot was the name of the Ugnaught rolling around in a droideka. Like, those things are fun. Just like getting wacky and wild, and yeah, I'm not worried about... I'm not considering this game to be canon or anything. They're just having fun with Star Wars. So I like the character design a lot. I also like the idea of a droid that's programmed to think it has the Force. That's funny. I'll wait and see about the game. It is interesting that it's not just mobile, but I assume it has crossplay. So like for a mobile game to work with, I don't know. It's interesting, but...
We'll see what the gameplay looks like and then probably have more thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'll give it a shot. And if all my friends fall in love with it, then I'll probably wind up playing it quite a bit. But I'm not really expecting much from it yet.
Matt Barnes wants to know if we're going to see more animated Star Wars projects after The Bad Batch, or is Filoni only interested in live action now?
Absolutely. I mean, Filoni isn't the end-all be-all to the animation department. Like, yeah. From what we've heard, he isn't even that involved in The Bad Batch. He is the series creator, but he wasn't the head writer or director, or I think even showrunner. I think that it was just kind of like his idea, and then a bunch of other people took it and ran with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we're not in a world where, like, only Filoni can produce animated Star Wars projects.
Yeah, I think animation is part of the backbone of Star Wars at this point, and we'll definitely see more animated series going forward.
And I guess my hope is that Dave Filoni gets to a point where he's just kind of doing whatever he wants to do, where he's like, ooh, I have this idea. Animation sounds like the right format for that. Ooh, I have this idea. I'd like to do that in live action, where he's still like getting introduced to that world more and more. Like he's going to be the showrunner for Ahsoka. So I just like to see that he has options.
Colin Bartoldas asks, what would have to change about the new KOTOR if they decided to make it fit into canon?
Honestly, I think a lot of it is very surface level and stuff that could be hand-waved away. The big one that jumps out to me is the fact that you fight like Sith spirits on Korriban, which that can't happen now. They basically did away with that idea. But you could make it kind of like what Darth Bane was in the Clone Wars, where he was more of an illusion than an actual literal spirit. Like everything I can think of, I'm like, well, here's how you can solve that. The Outer Rim during the time of the High Republic isn't all that explored, and you go to several Outer Rim planets. But just because the Outer Rim hasn't been completely explored doesn't mean we have a couple hyperspace lanes to Dantooine and Tatooine and Korriban. I guess the technology would have to be a little bit different based on what we're seeing in the High Republic. But yeah, like everything that I can think of off the top of my head is very fixable if they want to go that route. I guess maybe if they want to keep going and do KOTOR 2 and get into like Malachor, that's a big difference. The version of Malachor we see in Star Wars Rebels is pretty different from Malachor 5 in Knights of the Old Republic 2. But again, that's Malachor 5. Malachor could be a different thing, so
yeah,
still fixable.
I haven't played the game, so I don't know much about it, but I like the idea of them like changing, instead of you fighting like Sith spirits, it could be like a dream sequence where, yeah, you're fighting Sith spirits, but it's not real. But in the game, you still have to do it.
Yeah.
So then it's like a hand-wavy way of dealing with stuff that isn't canon.
Exactly. And I still am not expecting them to make the game canon. I think it's just going to be a remake of the game, although there are rumors that they're going to do some things to update it and make it a little more familiar to newer Star Wars fans, like adding crossguard lightsabers, and maybe they'll add some new dialogue about like Tar Vizsla, because there's a bunch of Mandalorians in the game, so that would be fun. If they added some dialogue here or there, it'll be interesting, because it does sound like it might fit a little better with canon or have canon elements, but I don't know. I'm still just not getting my hopes up that it's like, and it's canon. That's it for our patron questions. If you're a patron and you didn't see your question answered here, just head over to Patreon, where we leave every submitted question a written response. If you're not a patron, you can learn more by following the link in the description. We have tons of other rewards, like audio commentaries for the films and every new Star Wars series premiering on Disney+. We also record video reactions to every new series as we watch them for the first time. We're doing book clubs to discuss every new Star Wars book as they release. We have behind-the-scenes content, comic reactions every Wednesday, and more. All of that is available right now on our Patreon if you're interested.
On to YouTube questions. Mouse7 asks if we'll ever do a KOTOR 2 lore play.
I kind of want to. I mean, especially with KOTOR coming out, it's like I want to play KOTOR 1 again. It's reignited that. And KOTOR 2, it's like if I'm going to do 1, I might as well do 2. And I've never done that lore play. So, yeah, I might do it. It's just a matter of finding the time, and next year's going to be rough, so it's like I need to just play through it real fast and at least have that part of it done.
Yeah, the lore play stuff, we never did much of that to begin with, but it's kind of like me talking about Twitch. Will it ever happen?
I mean, I did it for like a good year, and it was fun, but, there's so much other stuff coming out that it's hard enough to keep up with that. It's why I still really want to do the Journey Through Legends series and go back through all the Legends books, but it's like I'm already having a hard enough time keeping up with all the new stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot of books.
Yeah.
Elsa Rules wants to know if the Lars family gave C-3PO permission to go with Anakin, or did he just up and leave?
I kind of figured it was just like, hey, he built this droid and we kind of just inherited him, and yeah, he can have him.
I like the idea that he just wasn't very good at his job.
I think that's also very possible. I mean, knowing how annoyed Owen Lars was with him after 2 seconds in A New Hope, he was probably like, get this droid out of here.
Well, he was in rough shape, and I feel like Anakin's the only one that knows how to work on him.
Sure.
And keep him, up to date. So maybe they were like, whatever, Anakin built you, he can have you back. We'll get someone that's not so sassy.
Or maybe they overheard him talking to Padme about how he slaughtered all the Tusken Raiders, and not just the men, but the women and the children, and they were like, maybe let's let him take that droid. Let's just, if he wants the droid, he can have him.
Out of
you
here.
Can take the droid. And then years later, Owen runs into 3PO, and he's like, ugh, you remind me of this droid I used to own.
Philip Nowak asks where we think Kira's story is going to go in the Crimson Reign comics, and what will be her connection to Ren.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I thought that the War of the Bounty Hunters was basically going to be her journey, but it's become clear that Charles Soule had a trilogy of stories around Crimson Dawn when he started War of the Bounty Hunters. So I'm kind of guessing that her goal is to weaken or bring down a bunch of the other criminal syndicates and the Empire, basically any oppressive system in the galaxy. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from her, but it's still dark side motivated. It's very much like let's wipe out all these other oppressive systems and then we'll be the oppressive system, but the right way. That's kind of what I'm getting from this comic so far.
Yeah. I just want more Kira, period. I did see an image, because I haven't read these comics, but I saw an image of her holding a Sith holocron.
I don't think that was her using the Force. When I saw that image, it was just artist interpretation. She was talking about the holocron and that it was showing us what she was talking about. I didn't get the sense that she was levitating it or anything. But I saw someone throw out the idea that she could have learned Night Sister magic while she was on Dathomir.
Ooh.
And I'm like, that's interesting.
There's so much room for her character to grow in the comics, or all the stuff post, or I guess pre-Solo too, but post-Solo. I hope we see more of her.
I'm expecting that she'll kind of ride off into the sunset. I don't want her to die, but I don't really want her to be around for like Return of the Jedi, I guess. I feel like that makes things a little messy, but I'm hoping that this trilogy is kind of a send-off for her character that leaves the door open. And I still think that it doesn't shut the door on any sort of Solo continuation. It's like, yeah, we know that Kira is going to survive any continuation of that story, but I still want that. As for Rin, I don't know, she seems to have shady connections everywhere. I'm surprised Rin was around at this point, so that'll be interesting to explore, but she's friends with Deathstick and like a bunch of other bounty hunters, so I just assume he's another shady contact.
I think they have a poker night. I guess it would be a sabacc night. Come on, Molly. Pull yourself together. I Like Mandalorians wants to know what the difference between the cosmic and the living force is.
This is how I understand it and explain it to myself. I'm not going to say that it's 100% right. It's just the way I choose to interpret it. The living force is created by all living things and feeds into the cosmic force, and I see it as the thing that the Jedi can control. If you want to push someone or mind trick someone, all of that is coming from the living force. And then the cosmic force is the version of the force that has like a will and that is guiding events and creating Anakin Skywalker, for example, or giving visions to people. When they talk about, I'm going to meditate on the will of the force, they're like going into the cosmic force. Yeah. That's how I see it.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. Living force is like the part of the force that the Jedi use to make things float or, like you said, mind trick people. Cosmic force is everything else that's going on.
Yeah.
That they can't control. And I guess the prophecies, would that be part of the cosmic force, or is that who's doing that prophesizing?
See, that's the thing, is I feel like the cosmic force might be giving someone visions or inspirations for prophecies, but then it's like, well, now did they interpret the will of the force correctly or not? Mm-hmm. Was the prophecy of the chosen one misread or miswritten?
So
or
the vision itself is like the cosmic force, but the interpretation of it by a Jedi is living force?
No, like I think that's just them thinking. I guess the difference I feel between the living and cosmic force is control. Jedi, I like what you said, that the Jedi can't control the cosmic force, but they can control the living force a bit. That's all the time we have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below, or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion and get a guaranteed answer. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.